Good morning and a warm welcome from the Zero Project Conference 2026. It's the conference on accessibility, ICT and crisis response. You're watching a Fireside broadcasted live from the conference. It's the middle day. We will close tomorrow, a 3-day conference. And it's my great pleasure to welcome Luise Bruche.
Hi.
Thanks for coming. Please start with a brief introduction of yourself and then the company you work for.
Well, as you said, my name is Luise Bruche, and I work as a community and communications manager at Sozialhelden. That's a Berlin-based NGO from Germany, apparently, who has been working for disability rights for over 20 years. And the project that we are best known for internationally is probably Wheelmap, which is the largest online map to mark and find accessible places, wheelchair accessible places.
Very good. And today we talk about a new product, and you're going to explain, first of all, the name, please.
Yes. We're talking about a11y-Score. Basically, the name already describes what this tool is doing. ELI is short for accessibility, so it's spelled A11y, and the 11 stands for the 11 letters in between the A and the Y in accessibility. So what it does, very, very briefly, is rating accessibility in the public space.
Okay, and how does it work? I think you've prepared a small video. Shall we play the video, or?
I think I'm going to explain the basics
okay,
first,
good.
and because the video is very short. So it is based on OpenStreetMap, which is also an online map that includes geodata from all over the world. It's volunteer-based, so people collect data all over the world for it. And there's also information on accessibility. So it takes the information that is there and organizes and evaluates this data to give out an evaluation of the accessibility of a certain place. And then that is combined into different categories which I will then explain better with the video, I think.
Okay, well then let's no longer wait. Please play the video. Thank you.
So what you see here is where you can choose the region, which I took Berlin because that's where we're based. And you can see the skyline of Berlin and the rating of 24 of 100 points for accessibility. Below you see that there are different categories that also have ratings. So at the moment we have public transport or food and drinks. And all of these categories have subcategories as well with ratings. And the ratings come from certain attributes, like is the place wheelchair accessible, or does it have tactile paving for visually impaired people? So all of these attributes contribute to the score of a certain place, and all of the places combined make up the score for the subcategory, and all of the subcategories make up the main categories, and so on. So this is how the score is developed on the regional level. So at the moment we have the scores for the 16 federal states of Germany and more than 40 regions and cities in Germany as well. But because OpenStreetMap is global, you could actually apply this to anywhere if you wanted to. It's open source and open data.
And how do you get the data? You have volunteers out there, or people just apply, or how do you do the rating?
That's what I just... the data is already there in OpenStreetMap. It's people contribute to that map all over the world. But of course, some data, like if you've watched very closely in the video, you might have seen that the attributes, they don't all have ratings already because some of the data is still missing. For example, there's good data quality for wheelchair accessibility, but there's not as much information on what is there for visually impaired people. So that is something that the a11y score does as well. It not only shows you the rating for the region, but it also shows you where the data is still missing. So it's both a tool to, push for more information on accessibility, as well as give an overview of it.
Okay, and who can then contribute to fill these gaps? How do you have a certain process in place, or it just happens?
Well, the volunteers of OpenStreetMap, which is an active community in itself, and of course the a11y score wants everyone to contribute to this. The problem that we actually wanted to solve, one of the problems we wanted to solve with this, is that we've been seeing that, well, accessibility moves too slowly, and it's not always because people are not willing, but they're lacking the information to do it. Like in the municipalities that we work with, people want to make the places more accessible, but where do they start? They don't have the information, like what is the most urgent? Where could we have the most impact with the little money that we have? So one of the things that we wanted to do with this is give people something to work with. So we already have some municipalities that see the need to collect the data, but they were still missing the tool to actually access it. Yeah.
And you said you are available in all states?
Of Germany.
Of Germany.
Far, yes.
Yes. And do you do any, or do you plan any international expansion, for example, in the DACH regions, or Switzerland, or Austria, or not really?
Well, the project is not endless at the moment. At the moment we're supported by the German Federal Ministry of Transport, but of course we need financing to work longer on it. So right now we don't have plans to expand internationally, but as the project is open source, everyone can take the code and use it themselves, or adapt it even. So it's free for everyone to use, basically.
All right, and how do you promote it? How do people find it?
Well, this is one of the ways to promote it. We're going around and telling people about it, of course. It's at the moment, I forgot to tell, it's still in beta stage, so we're still working on it. So we weren't able to show it before. This is one of the first occasions that we can actually go out and show you this. So we're going to do that much more, and also the whole press shenanigans and stuff to get it out there and start people talking about it. We're using the connections that we have to municipalities to speak about it as well, so that it gets pushed forward. Yes.
And the time frame, you said you have the beta version now ready. So when is the actual launch? Is it later this year, or?
Our developers would forbid me to give a strict timeline, because it's always hard to tell. What I can tell you is that we're planning to add more categories in the next couple of months. So there's also going to be culture or government buildings in there, for example. But I cannot tell you when it's definitely going to be finished.
Is there an option, because you mentioned briefly finance from a public entity? Is it an option also to go out and approach companies, or is this not really an option?
Well, I don't think we've really talked about that, but given that it's open data, it's always not so easy to sell to companies, because they want to keep the data for themselves, and that is really important to us, that it's available for everyone and not just a single company. Yeah. Right.
So you're still in development. You're in a phase. Let's assume it launches later this year. and then you're still basically trying to promote it through different media channels, and people are using it. You mentioned a lot the municipalities. So are people or city governments approaching you to have the data inserted, or how does this selection process work?
Well, we don't have enough people to actually add the data, because most of the time you have to be in the city. You have to actually be on site to be able to tell what the attributes are of a place. So we couldn't, go around the whole of Germany and add that. But we have been working with municipalities to help them collect the data, like, how to approach volunteers, how to, find a way to show the data on their website and stuff like that. We give them our expertise for doing that. Yeah.
We are at the conference, which has about 1,500 delegates over the 3 days, and from almost 100 countries. So what kind of support could our network offer to you?
Well, first of all, to spread the word on this, and how important it is to use data to push forward with accessibility as well as other things. And also to contribute data, of course. Like, you can contribute data to OpenStreetMap anywhere in the world. And this is one of the ways that shows how important that can be. Because once the information is in OpenStreetMap, it cannot only be used for a11y-Score. It can be used for all kinds of things, for all kinds of maps. The information becomes available to people. And information and accessibility is the first step to make the world more accessible.
Are you also cooperating with DPOs, with people, organization with disabilities? I don't know, Association for the Blind, or the visually impaired, or the deaf. Are these also people who are in your network whom you would like to use?
In the network for our organization, for sure. We haven't reached out on this specific project so far, but that might still happen, yes. Or, we give out press releases, etc., and of course, people in these organizations are also reading our news, so they can approach us anytime when they have thoughts on that, yes.
Okay. Just how big is your team? How do we imagine how many programmers and how many people are working on the project itself?
Oh, I think that differed over time. We are all together, I think, about 25 people in the organization altogether. In this particular project, I think we're about 4 or 5, but there's someone that resigned recently, so it's been varying. But there's only 2 developers right now, so you can imagine it's a lot of work for them. Yeah.
All right. Good. We're almost at the end. We were talking to Luise Bruche from Sozialhelden, an NGO based in Berlin, and we are broadcasting live from the Zero Project Conference 2026. It's a conference on accessibility, ICT, and crisis response. Thank you for listening.